Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Monday. I'm coming at you guys today in the middle of this freezing cold snowstorm in the middle of April. It feels like December in April right now, but I mean, to no surprise for any Minnesotan, sometimes it snows in April, just like Prince said. But anyway, so we're out here today and we are going to be talking about some humility. Now, I think that humility is one of the most important, if not the most important thing in my life. Um, I believe that humility is the strongest foundation of a true leader. Um, I believe that someone that is a great leader is somebody that puts their ego aside for the greater good of the team, and that involves an incredible amount of humility. And when I say, put your ego aside, that means, if your team has criticisms, if your team has opinions, if your team has anything like that, or whoever you're working with, or your friends, or your family, or anybody comes up to you and, feels like they can trust you enough to criticize you constructively, or whatever the case, you know, really egotistical people are constantly defensive. So I believe that as a humble person, um, you have to be able to uh, not be so full of pride to where you're able to take things like criticism and guidance from others, and not think that you know it all, right? Um, all my life, I've always made it a motto of mine to be humble. No matter what I've done, no matter what I've accomplished, no matter who I know, whatever the case, I've always remained humble, and I think that's one of my best qualities. Is I never, try to act like I'm better than somebody, try to act like I know more than the next person. Um, you know, I never try to put my past on others, like, oh, like, I've been through all this shit, so how can you tell me this or tell me that? Excuse my language, but yeah, I've always tried my best to put my ego aside for the greater good of myself and the people I care about. And that's not easy, just like nothing in life that's worth having is. It's not easy being humble, and it's definitely not easy putting your ego aside in certain situations. Um, you know, Especially with people that you may not necessarily like. It's very, very difficult to, when somebody like comes at you for something, for you to put your ego aside and be like, all right, fine. Like, is this worth reacting to? Is it not worth, etc. Now, just to give you a perspective of like someone that I learned a lot of humility from. So my favorite music artist is Martin Garrix, right? He's a Dutch like EDM like superstar, right? And he's my age, 23 years old. We're the same age, and he is so successful, but yet he is the most down-to-earth and humble person. Whenever he's in interviews, whenever he's ever seen talking to anybody, fans, friends, family, anything, he's always the most down-to-earth and humble person. Giving out hugs, telling people like how much his fans like how much he appreciates them and stuff like that, and all that corny stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason why I look up to him so much is because of his humility. He could so easily be such an asshole. Excuse my language again. I'm sorry. He could so easily be like a mean person to everybody around him. He could so easily be. I mean, he has like the clout and the stardom to do that. He could easily be that kind of person, but he's not. I've heard of him meeting fans like right outside of venues, like just because that fan like thought it was him and noticed him, and so he'd turn around and would walk over to them and like give them a hug, stuff like that. I mean, that's just super, super humble. I mean, it's knowing that these fans are the ones that you started with, and that's what I try to incorporate, into my life, is always remembering where I came from, and using that to push me to the next accomplishment, to the next achievement, to the next goal. Now, having humility as a leader and being able to accept when you're wrong is huge. People follow that. People look up to that. When they feel like, someone's not going to go around and act like a know-it-all, there's much higher of a chance that they're going to actually respect what you say, because, you're humble about it, and you can accept when you make mistakes, you can accept when you make accomplishments, and so on. And so that makes you humble, and those people are going to want to follow that. And so, I say, to all of you out there, try your best every single day to remain humble. I don't care what you have, what you do, what your job is, what your job title is, who like, always remain humble, because it'll always pay off in the long game. A lot of times when people let their ego get into, like, and their pride get in the way of things, you may win in the short term, like you may win that argument, you may win that, situation. But in the long run, being an egotistical, overly prideful person will not pay off, and it'll only attract other egotistical, prideful people that don't know when to admit that they're wrong, and nobody respects that. Besides the other super egotistical people. So, if you guys like what you're hearing, if you're enjoying what I'm saying, please make sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think. If you have any opinions on what I'm saying, if you want to debate about something, whatever the case, I am totally open and would love to hear from anybody talking about what humility means to them. But yeah, make sure to subscribe as well. Turn on that notification bell to always see my uploads. I upload twice a week. But yeah, I mean, I could sit here and talk about humility for hours, but I think you guys get the main gist of it. It's just being humble will always grant you bigger and better success than being egotistical and materialistic and prideful. So, the next time that you're in a situation, or I should say like a leadership position, especially, watch how much people will look up to you, and watch how people respond to you when you're humble, and when you accept things that an egotistical person wouldn't. It's crazy, and I'm very excited just thinking about that kind of stuff. But yeah. Alright guys, well, I am going to go get warm before my ears fall off, but it was great talking to you guys, and I will see you guys probably on Wednesday. So, alright, bye.